Starting. Hey! Okay. We're all here to play Anchorhead.
Woo!
And this time we're starting the broadcast when we're actually going to play. And at the bottom of the screen, let's say who we are. I'm Ryan. Zach, who are you?
That's me. I'm Zach.
Okay.
I'm Table Saw. I'm the one who is the screen that currently displays Anchorhead. I don't know when it is coming up.
Literally a screen. Anyway, I'm Catherine. I write IF at some point. Is the master picture?
Is it me?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
You are
okay.
the last one.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Okay. So we're playing Anchorhead, and last time we got up to the beginning of day 2, where we woke up and we stole our husband's faculty card out of his pants, and then he left, and we wandered around the house for a little bit, and the main thing is we found a journal. We also found some other stuff, but we found a journal, and there was it was a diary that had pages ripped out, which has never happened before, and there was a safe combination in it, in addition to some intimations of plot details. I think the most important part is the safe combination, which it turns out is different between playthroughs, randomly generated. But
now,
so
does that mean
good
that we all have the same one now?
We all do. It's 143855 if y'all examine the journal or read the journal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
So, if you look around the house, we're in the dining room right now, and north of that is the kitchen, and then there's a hallway, and there's the gallery where we saw some creepy paintings last time, and there's the sitting room for the portrait, and we found the family album that we can look people up in once we figure out some names to look people up in it, and there's a back door out of the kitchen to the north, and there's a pantry to the northwest. Is that where we found the flash? That's where you found something. Oh, it's dark in the pantry. Turn on flashlight. The flashlight emits a warm yellow beam from the northwest. The pantry is empty, save for a layer of dust on the shelves. A door to the south leads down to the cellar, or you can return to the kitchen to the southeast. Leaning in the corner is an old broom. I'm going to take the broom. It's just an ordinary-looking broom. It's a wrench. Oh yeah, we do have the key to the cellar. Although we can see what's going on Table Saw's screen, I don't think that the archived broadcast is always going to be looking at that, because I think it focuses on whoever is talking. So we do need to read stuff out loud that happens. So you guys should read stuff out loud.
Oh, I had my mic on mute. That's why nobody was hearing me.
Okay. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi. Right,
Did you hear
so we unlocked the cellar door. Yes.
Cellar, the old flagstone walls gleam with unwholesome-smelling moisture, and the sagging timbers creak uneasily above your head. Ancient, frayed wiring festoons the ceiling like some strange species of clinging vine. Portions of the cellar extend south and east into the clammy darkness, though you could always beat a hasty retreat up the stairs to the north. One large bundle of wires leads down to a rusty old fuse cabinet bolted to the far wall. I don't know, how much are we supposed to be reading on all of this?
Read as much as you feel comfortable reading.
The wiring runs back and forth across the ceiling in every direction, wrapped around the timbers, in and out of rusted, broken conduits, crossing and recrossing itself in a dozen places. You can see several places where the insulation is cracked or stripped altogether. It's enough to send any self-respecting fire marshal into conniption.
Open fuse box.
Some sort of lettering on the cover. Oh, it's open now, so we see plugs.
Fuse plugs.
If all of them are blown.
Huh.
That's useful.
I wonder if this is atmosphere or if this is a puzzle.
Pull the fuses out and try to rub some of the grime off. Sure enough, the little metal strip inside is melted to a black twisted cinder. With a sigh, you plug it back into its socket. So basically, that accomplished
Someday
music.
I understand what love was all about.
Yeah.
And I could have the keys. She
Moderator?
was moving out.
Hey, did that work?
Yep.
So long. Okay.
It didn't work. You couldn't take the plugs. They're completely done.
Huh. Well, if we find any more plugs, maybe we can put them in there.
Moving east takes us to the wine cellar. The wine cellar. This wing of the cellar is even older than the rest, with walls of piled, unmortared stone. The entire room is filled with wine racks. They cover every wall except for one spot to the west where an exit leads back to the main cellar. All of the racks are dust-covered and empty except for one against the north wall, which contains some 40 or 50 dark bottles. You are reminded of something Michael told you during the long drive up, about how the police arrived after the shooting. They found the wine cellar in a shambles, nearly every bottle thrown to the floor and shattered, and the whole place reeking of rotted grapes. All except the bottles in the north rack.
Wow. You're a rude person.
I had no idea Mega Man was such a troll.
Table Saw, you were muted by Mega Man, which apparently is under Mega Man's power. So I don't. You have to you have to unmute yourself. I can't do it.
Mega Man, we don't want to hear about the wine cellar.
Okay, I think that there's something I can do about this to stop weirdos from being able to mute us.
Does anybody know what the music was that was so important for us to hear?
It
sounded like
country jam.
Generic, you are in a country bar, and this is playing in the background.
Yeah,
Randy
like the
Newman.
kind of
Chasing
country bar.
wine with chitlins and skirt.
Oh, yep.
Whiskey chitlins and skirt.
How many accounts do you have?
Wow.
Wow.
There's a pretty high level of commitment going on here.
Yeah.
Although, we did find out when we were playing yesterday that the protagonist in this game is from Texas.
That's
so
true.
maybe the Matrix is trying to give us a clue about the origin of the player character. So we should. I can't believe this. This is fantastic. We should do something with the things in the north wall. Did we know there was a shooting before this? Zach, did you see anything like that?
I don't remember there
real
being
life?
anything.
I
No,
didn't play the beginning of the game, so I didn't know.
Oh, in the game. Okay.
Yeah,
no.
sorry.
This is the first mention I remember of there being one, unless I missed something yesterday, which is possible. But this is the first I remember there being a mention of a shooting.
Okay.
Though there was talk, I mean, obviously of an inheritance and all that.
Mm.
So it's kind of, this is establishing a little bit more of that, I guess. Oh, there you go.
Hey, Brett.
Something special about those steps? The higher you sit, the more status you got. So we kind of play king of the mountain. Except here we don't.
I'm gonna see if I can stop anyone else from joining this.
I'm pretty sure that you can. I know that we can't. Zach, you are still muted.
There we go.
This is amazing. Settings. So I just examined the thing, the north rack, and it said something.
These tracks must have at one time contained hundreds upon hundreds of wine bottles. Idly, you wonder which member of the family developed such a taste for wine which is sinful and horrible, but the bottles seem to be fixed in place. They won't move, you can't push them, you can't pull them. They don't move at all.
I examined the bottles. Row after row of smooth dust-covered glass. The wine inside is dark and murky, reminding you, somewhat irrationally, of blood. Huh. Can I push the rack? Push rack. Nope.
Can neither push nor.
Is it one of those, like, haunted house things where you pull a bottle and then that's a secret doorknob?
But did you try pull? Pull bottle?
Yes.
Ah.
So, search rack gives you. There are dozens of bottles here. You glance over the rows, but nothing jumps out at you as immediately odd. So I suspect we might need to find a reason for things to be odd.
Huh. Okay. Is there anything else in the basement?
There was another part of the basement.
To the south, yeah.
South, yeah. Old crates and boxes piled high against the walls make this room even smaller and dingier than it actually is, which is saying a lot. A doorway lies north. The other walls contain nothing but shadows and dirt-filled corners.
Alright, search the boxes.
Spend some time poking dispiritedly through boxes of second-hand table settings, discarded shoes, and outdated encyclopedias, but the only thing you manage to dig up is an old cardboard box full of newspaper clippings, which might make interesting reading later, if you can find the time. The only thing at all noteworthy about the room, in fact, is that it desperately wants cleaning. There's even a big, nasty-looking spider web in a corner behind one of the crates.
And you can look at the web. It's not a pretty symmetrical spiral web like you see in the nature magazines. This is a tangled, ugly mass of dull gray thread spun in every direction, the work of some careless, inebriated arachnid on a weekend bender. Way back in the corner, almost buried beneath the disheveled strands, is an old-fashioned iron key. That's kind of cool. So obviously we can take that key, the old-fashioned iron key. You gingerly stick your hand into the tangled spider web, and something light and skittery crawls across your skin and bites you. Quickly you jerk back, compulsively wiping your hand on your pants. The bite itself didn't hurt all that much, but the thought of spiders crawling around in your skin gives you the willies. Well, that's cool.
Ew.
I have already solved this puzzle.
Yeah, I remember this puzzle.
Looking at the clues in the search box's text. That the room desperately wants cleaning. You can just clean the web.
You need the broom, I think.
You didn't get the broom?
No, for anybody who doesn't have the broom.
Oh, yeah, you gotta take the broom. You saw the broom up there.
Well,
Right.
even if you look at the broom, it picks it up for you because you
hey.
can't look at a broom without having it in your hands, feeling the wood, smelling the bristles.
I wouldn't know how ordinary it was if I hadn't cleaned it or picked it up.
So now what was the... Okay, I see.
And getting the iron key gives you a point.
Nice. I was thinking about this, about how games used to give you points for stuff that was critical path, just to let you know that you were on the right track. Whereas now, although I don't have any recent memories of any games with points, but it seems like in this modern age, they would be used rather to reward you for doing stuff outside of the critical path.
More like achievements.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Like the last 15,100,000 lousy points.
That's the
is-
thing.
Here.
Yeah.
It is also interesting that we are at 8 of 100 points, which suggests, and this is the other interesting thing about old games, that there's the scale of points.
Mm.
Presumably, it's I imagine that there isn't going to be everything 1 and 2 points going up, which I think is more common in later games. That you just have there's 8 points. You're going to do 8 important things. There's going to be something that we do that's going to be worth 20 points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, those points are, I guess, punctuation for what would otherwise seem to us, I don't know what the thing you get so many points for is, but presumably we'll know why it's so important anyway.
Scratching the surface of evil.
Yeah.
Except
so,
for...
You know what, if I undo... can't undo twice in succession.
What?
Oh, man. This
What?
game hates you.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't TADS. What are you thinking?
I don't know.
It started in the beginning is that you are at the threshold of a foreboding mystery with 0 out of 100 points.
Okay, but I think... And actually, I'm going to open the save state again and see where we were beforehand.
That's what I had to do just now.
Still scratching the surface of evil.
So, if these points aren't in a set order, and you can't get another point before you get the point for getting the key, that action is what scratches the surface of evil, is grabbing an iron key.
It may have also been grabbing the ID card.
Oh,
You're
that's
keying
even
the
weirder.
We're
Why would
walking
that
by
be
evil
weirder?
and keying its paint job.
Because that's the first thing that happens in the day. So you have this is the second day, so now clearly they're going to be scratching the surface of evil.
Yeah, but for taking your husband's ID card to unlock the statement that you've scratched the surface of evil is changes the meaning of scratching the surface of evil.
When do we get to sniff the surface of evil?
So I'm back in the pantry. I'm going southeast to the kitchen. What?
By the way, if you read the clippings, it says there are dozens of articles in the box, many of them yellowed with age.
Oh.
Many of them you note with unease refer to missing children, but otherwise you can deduce no obvious connection among any of the stories.
Wait, you didn't go into a menu about reading the newspaper clippings?
Nobody cares about newspapers. Actually, they're pretty important in real life and likely in this.
Oh, yeah.
The crumpled flyer of Have You Seen Me, Tara Luffington. Last seen March 25th, 1982. Last wearing green t-shirt, white tennis shoes, blue overalls with a button that reads, I love cats.
Oh, that's
For
heartbreaking.
any information, 555-4362. It's only heartbreaking if you love cats.
That's true.
So let's concede now you get into the
Time.
in the clippings.
Fuck that.
Table saw, you got to keep talking while you're looking at these.
You
so
need
the
to.
People who are reading this later.
You need to stop breathing.
Am I breathing too much?
Which is drawing focus off of my screen after I talk. I don't know.
What are they?
I don't know if all of these are read worthy.
Prominent anthropologist Dr. Joseph Corbin's repeat attempts to secure permission to set up an archaeological dig in nearby Anchorhead came to an end yesterday when he lost his suit against the Reverend Mordecai Verlac, which is a name that does not sound good.
Mordecai Verlac. You can look that up in the thing.
We've got Mordecai, we've got Wilhelm, we've got Edward Philip, who is apparently balding.
We have Heinrich Verlac on the photostatic copy.
Okay, do not go to page 2 of a sample of the newspaper clippings, because you will get a runtime error.
Uh-oh.
Right, I got that too.
Yeah. I guess it's escapable, which is good.
Respected physician retires due to abrupt potential nervous breakdown, not confirmed by newspaper, which means it's probably true. In story terms.
The photostatic copy is a much older document from the 18th century. Be it known that through the generosity and enterprise of the Honorable Goodman Heinrich Verlac, the Miskatonic Valley Mill shall be rebuilt even upon the ashes of the old, which was tragically burnt. So,
And be it known that upon its new christening there shall arise a sore need for men of able body and industrious bent to work therein, and he's hiring people.
Yeah, it's a really old help wanted sign. But Heinrich Verlac is another person we can look at, and I'm not taking those notes.
I got it.
Videos. Okay.
Mordecai, Wilhelm, Heinrich, and I missed one, I think, somewhere in the puzzle. I got distracted there because
Edward
a big
Phillips.
spider just crawled up my wall. Crawled out of the game and crawled up my wall.
Shut up.
You need a broom.
I need a broom.
The London Times of March 3rd, 1918 is giving us the American Elijah Verlac, who is having dealings with Aleister Crowley. Oh, it's Aleister Crowley bidding on a painting by American Elijah Verlac.
So he probably painted those creepy paintings.
I've never seen anything like it, said Sir Walton Radcliffe, Esquire, presiding auctioneer for the Verlac exhibit, but I suppose one might expect such behavior from a person who calls himself the Great Beast.
That was Crowley's thing.
Yes.
Elijah Verlac is
Such
known by
beast.
art historians for his grotesque, continued on page 825.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's a good
Crowley-
storytelling where you say it's grotesque, but you don't say what it is.
He's never met Mordecai Verlac and has no desire to. I encountered Verlac in a former life, he is reported as saying, and I would not do so again, for all the kingdoms in Hades he has gone where I dare not. The end.
So I tried to save some time by looking up Elijah in the album, but it says that's not a name you're familiar with. Since the family album is filled with names you're not familiar with, you are unable to get very far looking for it. So you actually have to see the name in the clipping.
So
Here's another missing child in 1959, Daryl Beasley.
Did Daryl love cats?
It is unreported what small mammals he was holding an affinity for.
Mordecai, looking it up in the album, this photograph depicts a man who has returned to his Puritan roots, dressed in Spartan black, hair clipped in an archaic tonsure, clutching a Bible in his lap as he glares stoically at the camera. This is the kind of man who would whip his children for laughing on Sunday. His eyes still carry the Verlac madness, burning with single-minded righteousness. 1906 to 1920 something or other.
I've got the album entry on Elijah. Traveled to Europe in 1824 to study painting and to research the Verlac genealogy. Returned to Anchorhead in 1832, entered the seminary at Arkham College in 1834, ordained in 1844, began construction of the Church of Celestial Wisdom in Anchorhead in 1860, accused of Confederate sympathies in 1862, retired from the clergy and devoted life to painting in 1873. One of the earliest photographic portraits in the album, it depicts a man in his 60s, at least. His face is deeply scored by time, his skin mottled with liver spots, his long gray hair swept back from a high, bony forehead. The man resembles the portrait in the sitting room more than any of the others, for he has practically the same eyes, the raw, bloodshot madness staring out from hollow caves in his skull. You note one other interesting detail. He appears to have an extra digit, a sixth finger, on his right hand. That's a clue. Probably. Oh, Jenny is gone.
We also have, oddly, an obituary for the police sergeant Howard Biedermeier in 1956. October 28th, 1956. And that seems to correspond to the Arkham Herald notice in August 12th, 1956, where the same Biederman seems to have tried to sick the House Un-American Activities Community on the Reverend Mordecai Verlac and the Church of Celestial Wisdom. In fact, there was a raid.
The preacher was preaching not from the good book, but from a terrible book, and that he had been warning them of some kind of invasion or great event. And communism.
It smelled red to me, so I made the decision. Oh God, I sound Australian. To call our HUAC representative up in Salem. Of course, Salem is where the HUAC representative would be, because there are HUAC representatives. It is not actually a congressional committee made up of congresspersons.
So that was Mordecai? Yeah. Mordecai is and according to the album, is currently residing in Anchorhead, attended seminary at Arkham College in 1906, ordained in 1912, reestablished the Church of Celestial Wisdom in 1920, rebuilt the Miskatun River Mill in 1922. So it had to be rebuilt at least twice.
So far.
Yeah. He. Oh wait, this is the one you already read. Sorry. He's a
There are
creepy
about
looking
12
dude.
of these.
Okay. How are you looking stuff up in the album? I can't find the text for that.
You
It's
have to actually
probably
have the
up.
album pick up. You have to have it in your inventory and not like stuffed in your coat, which
Oh, I probably
happened automatically.
that's true.
Have we gotten Edward Philip Verlac?
He is not in there apparently.
Because Mordecai is currently, and he was
Yeah.
after that in '84.
Since this book was only published in 1944, there is no mention of Edward Verlac or his family. He probably wasn't even born yet. And Michael is also not in there for pretty much the same reason.
Oh, so the Arkham Herald of '88 says the paper mill burned down again.
Mm.
We did that already.
Rebuilt.
Interestingly, this is not the first time that the Anchorhead mill has burned. The original mill was burnt by Wilhelm Verlac in the latter part of the 17th century, and historical records indicate that it burned down after only 10 years. The mill was rebuilt by Wilhelm's grandson Heinrich Verlac a few decades later. This one lasted until shortly before the Civil War, and some still hold that it was burned down by Confederate sympathizers. The current mill was rebuilt in 1922 by Heinrich's great-grandson, Reverend Mordecai Verlac.
Huh.
So
Okay.
Heinrich's in here. Did we read Heinrich already? Because he's in the album here. Did we read him? No, I don't think we did. So Heinrich Verlac added a couple to the Verlac estate in 1759, elected mayor of Anchorhead in 1765, rebuilt the Miskatonic River Mill in 1770, led the Battle of Quatak Bend in the Misquat Uprising of 1772, arrested as a royalist sympathizer in 1777, but subsequently cleared of all charges, completed construction of the lighthouse, I remember lighthouse, in 1795. The portrait is of Heinrich as an older man, in his late 50s perhaps. The German ancestry shows through more clearly here, in the set of his jaw and the line of his forehead. The eyes burn with aggressive pride, and perhaps a little of the madness which stained the gaze of his ancestors as well. Did we see a lighthouse from there? Did I completely miss there's a lighthouse in this game?
I don't think we saw a lighthouse yet.
I'm excited.
It probably burned down, as things tend to do.
But maybe they built another one.
They tend to do that too.
The spider disappeared, and I'm worried.
Just so that you know, don't take the box of newspaper clippings outside, because they will all get blown away.
Wow!
That's
Wow.
Good to know.
That's super
A
cool.
sudden gust of wind catches up the newspaper clippings and whirls them away, leaving you with an empty box. Undo.
I just dropped the box in the kitchen because I thought it was stupid to be carrying it around for the rest of the game. I had no idea that they would enforce that. But
I didn't realize that I had taken it with me. Like, I thought, just leave it on the floor and I'll look through it.
Oh, just putting this box of old newspaper clippings in the kitchen, no big deal. Just walk around it. It's not like there's creepy burning down a building from here.
I'm going to step away for a little bit.
Path behind the house. A gravel path starts here at the back door of the house and marks a trail nearly overgrown by weeds and briars. It disappears into the undergrowth to the northwest, framed by crooked trees with overhanging branches that seem to form a stunted, jagged archway into the dim recesses of the forest. The cold wind cuts through your clothes, chilling you to the bone. Your weapons have dropped to level 0.
I'm confused now because earlier when we first started and we weren't going any direction, I went out the back way. Then I was able to unlock the door then, but now I'm trying to go out and I can't unlock the door. It says I don't have the correct
Do you have the
key.
key? It's in your coat.
But I took the keyring out. I thought.
There might be a different key. Or a key ring.
You have to
It's
put.
actually.
You have to manually put stuff on the keyring, which is wild, but okay.
Sorry, I'm interrupting with my lack of ability to do things here.
Going
okay,
northwest, stooping to avoid the sharp bare twigs that snag your clothes and seem to reach greedily for your eyes, you pick your way through the undergrowth to a small clearing. Family plot. Old, moss-slimed tombstones, many broken off and leaning crazily like an old man's teeth, poke up from the soft, mulchy earth. In their midst stands an ancient marble crypt, its heavy iron door, nearly obscured by thick draperies of ivy. The trees pressed close around this quiet enclave of death, leaning together over your head as if sharing secrets. A gap in the undergrowth to the southeast, that's where we came from, reveals a narrow path. So, there's an iron door.
Grimly carved letters over the door spell out a single name, which obviously is Verlac. Somebody else's grave. No, it's just.
It'd be great if it was Puffin stuff.
Oh man, he'd be a welcome sight.
As for the graves, years of neglect have left the tombstones in bad repair. They're illegible, covered in moss, and from what you can make out, most of them are servants' graves. Family members were most likely buried in the larger structure, which we just looked at.
I used the iron key to unlock the iron door. I opened the door and the cold wind cut through my clothes again, chilling me to the bone again. So, entered. I have
The crypt.
misgivings about entering this door all of a sudden.
Oddly, I had to put the iron key on the keyring myself. I don't know
Right,
why.
it's manual. We are in the crypt.
Turn on
The air is
flashlight.
clammy and frigid. The stone walls damp and streaked with mud and lichen. Pale, swollen roots push through cracks in the masonry. The smell of damp corruption is almost overpowering here, though the stairs to the south lead toward fresher air. The walls of this chamber contain dozens of wide, shallow niches, in each niche a coffin. Open the coffins. We can't. They are strongly built and sealed with lead. Without a chisel or a crowbar, that doesn't sound like a hint at all. We will not be able to open them.
Oh my gosh. Above each niche with the coffins in them is a nameplate indicating who was buried here and when they died. Examine nameplate. Most of the nameplates are illegible, corroded with centuries of rot and verdigris. There are a few names visible, however. You could look someone up if you have a specific name in mind.
And there we go.
Look up Mordecai.
Christ.
Hold on. I would like to read this one line of Examine Coffins. Rank upon rank of the ancient Verlac family remains are stacked away in this hole, left to crumble and deliquesce together, merging back into the dark matter which gave them birth.
Yes. I should not have skipped that because that is nuts.
I think that is the only time in my life I have seen the word deliquesce.
Deliquesce of organic matter become liquid, typically during decomposition.
It is highly accurate and yet silly.
I'll be back in a moment.
Good. Deliquesce. Speaking of which, Wilhelm, Mordecai, and Heinrich are not in here, but Edward is.
Edward. Oh, he's the one who just died. He died on Pi Day. I don't remember what the other list of names is. Because Zach has it.
It's we did Mordecai. Mordecai wasn't there.
Right.
Wilhelm.
Jason's here and we can't unmute him. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. We were having trouble with people coming in.
Oh, right, okay.
And Ryan just stepped out. Oh, Ryan's back.
Yes.
Hi.
Ryan, you need to unmute JMac.
Hi,
Because
JMac.
I'm pretty sure he's not just going to play Southern Blues at us.
Uh-oh. Come on.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's probably under your settings, or it might just be directly by clicking on it.
Hey,
No,
Edward.
it's more complicated than that, unfortunately. Because I have, I set it so new guests are muted when they join. JMac, could you leave and come back? Shut up.
For those viewers at home,
posterity.
JMac is asking us to check his config sys vi autoexec.bat.
Uh-huh.
Hide me,
He's
I will
barely
take
smart
down
enough
your
to know
whole
that that's
channel.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, man. Okay, so look up. You could.
I looked up Wilhelm, Heinrich, and Elijah. Nobody was there, so presumably
Hey, guys.
the only one we can get is Edward, unless there's some other.
So far.
Yeah, so far, exactly.
Edward, born April 26, 1960, died March 14, 1997. Like the others, this coffin is built of solid oak sealed with lead. Do we know what day of the year it is at this point?
We are somewhere in 1997, I believe. Because that's when this game was
So
from. This is presumably the
he
person who died to
this
give us
year.
to give our husband the house.
Yes.
Is there? I don't know Parchment very well. If we save, is there a way that we can just give JMac one of our?
Yeah. You can give him.
Oh, that's
Well-
rad. Yeah, you can totally do that. You can just throw the URL at me and I can just load it
Where does the URL go?
up in your address bar.
It's not in my address bar at least. Somebody else may have to do that.
I'm at basically the same place. I don't think
I'm
it changed.
essentially in the same place.
That might. If that
Try
starts you
that
in the
giant
crypt,
one in
then,
chat.
You
we
might
went
have to
URL.
copy that.
yeah, Chrome doesn't like it when you just click on a huge link. It prefers that you paste it in to prove that you're serious.
No browsers like you to actually see your URLs anymore. They assume that's too much computer for you.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God! Look at that thing. Holy Hannah!
Wait, so that there's mine and there's table saws. They're slightly different. If you analyze those letters, you can see.
Oh, it's like seeing the Matrix.
He and I
Yes.
diverged. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Hmm. All right, yeah. Let me put my. All right. Didn't work. So if I just do I need to actually use the restore command in the game?
I don't think so. Try look.
Man, I wasn't even getting a text prompt. Let me get it fresh. No, I'm just getting a blank page here.
Oh, that's not cool.
Can we do
I'll try some other browser. Safari, who needs it?
Yeah. How did we generate the Howley link before?
Sam did it, but I mean, you can still do it at al.lee, I assume. Or is it ow.lee or is it owl.lee?
Owl.lee.
That makes more sense.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We can generate one of those. And I'm going to use TableSaw's link and not mine because who knows how I've irreparably destroyed my game already.
Like, TableSaw has been more careful with the flashlight that might have the limited battery.
Oh, okay.
I have been turning it on and off.
Like, everything else that seems expendable has told us how expendable it is, but I wouldn't put it past him.
We still have the cup of coffee?
Of course we still have the cup of coffee.
Impressively, yes.
Because we're going to need it to put out a fire or something.
Yeah, I've already had to redo my whole game once or twice
Dude!
this session, so did that work?
It understood typewritten. Oh, that's because it's the first 9 characters. You misspelled typewritten, but it understood it anyway. That's the kind of thing that impresses me.
Right.
I cannot play with your URLs, but that is okay. You can just go ahead and play, and I will listen, and I will just yell things as appropriate.
If you click on my picture, you will just be able to see my screen for the entire time.
I can see that actually. That's neat. Actually, Please,
it's rad.
Pray continue. I want to talk to you about that later, though, because that is an interesting technological innovation that might inform projects of my own for later. But there are Cthulhu's to investigate in the meantime.
Right.
I don't think there are any Cthulhu's in this game. This is just a game about a creepy house where nothing supernatural happens.
You're correct. It's just all in the player character's mind.
There is though some evil that we've been scratching at. We just don't know what it is.
We scratch the surface of evil.
It's an imaginable surface.
It's not so much evil as just dust, and really we just need to give this house a name.
And cobwebs, like it just needs a broom.
Yeah.
Just there's like cups of coffee lying around. It's just a mess. How long has that been here? Who hired these contractors?
So
Nope.
we can't do anything with the wine rack. We can't do anything with the coffins.
Wine rack. That's a good idea. I'll be right back.
I think there was an upstairs to the house where we might be able to do something.
It looks. Oh no, the narrow hallway runs east from upstairs.
Right. And we need to find a
There's a
chisel or
cord dangling in
crowbar at some
midair.
point.
That's an attic. Let's do that.
With the rusty, ratcheting groan and a brief shower of dust, the trapdoor swings down and folds back, revealing a rickety wooden ladder leading up to the darkness.
All right.
It's much cooler up here than in the rest of the house, and you find it hard to suppress a shiver. Grotesque, looming shadows crawl across the low, slanted ceiling, and the dust hangs thick and motionless in the air. To the west, the ceiling dips even lower until the space beneath leaves hardly room enough to crawl, while to the north stands a wooden door draped in shadows and half hidden by the slanting eaves.
We need a wooden key.
So which direction is our aunt who's doing the pottery that we can't interrupt?
She's to the west, I remember that.
Okay.
I have that map burned into my brain.
That's why they ask you to adjust your contrast before playing, otherwise that happens.
So I'm in the crawl space. And there is an oddly angled corridor to the northwest. I'm sure that there
However-
are no...
What?
Oh, however, you can't go there because as you make your way down the corridor, you begin to get dizzy, then nauseous, lines seem to cross without bending, the ceiling becomes the walls, and the floor becomes the ceiling. Half blind, unsure even of which direction you're going in, you stagger forward and suddenly find yourself in the crawl space.
Oh, wow.
Right, but now we've turned the universe inside out and we can put the gnomon into the sundial, right?
Yes.
Yes.
How do we... Weird.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have the attic key door at the moment.
Oh, so unlock
that's what I'm
door
pretty sure.
goes through all the keys automatically.
Right.
That is
Right.
kind of nice.
That's why you put things on the keyring.
Uh-huh.
I just thought that picking up keys automatically put them on the keyring. It might not if you have the keyring in your pockets instead of in your hand.
Oh. That also makes sense. Maybe this game doesn't hate us, but I think it probably does. Was there anywhere else we could go from down? The doorways lead north and south in the upstairs hall. I go north. I'm in the library. Whatever else their faults may have been, the Verlacs were evidently not ones to shun the printed word. Books lined the walls from floor to ceiling in this dark paneled green carpeted room, interrupted only by doorways to the east and south. A rich brown leather armchair sits in stately repose near the window, with a polished brass pipe stand nearby, completing the picture of some blue-blooded country squire's literary refuge. Once again, you are struck by how easily this place could have been the perfect home, except for all the missing children and things burning down. A beautiful pair of mahogany sliding doors stand closed to the east. Resting on the pipe stand is a sizable volume decorated with a gilded pentagram on its cover. Oh, it's the complete manual of wards and seals. An old medieval tome dated in the early 1300s, written by one Galerian Academius Deschamps. Galerian Académie? I have no idea. Essentially, it's a textbook in...
Go ahead.
Whoops. In my version, it thought I meant to read the bookshelves, so... And,
You didn't read the tome.
Yeah. The theory and practice of magical wards and seals, mystic symbols inscribed on doors and containers in order to keep people and spirits out or in. It's all very deliberately vague and arcane, in addition to being written in medieval French and translated into Middle English, making it nearly impossible to understand, although you do understand that those are the languages it was written and translated into. The kind of thing that likely got many a scholar burned at the stake in those days. You are surprised to find that a page in this old and probably quite valuable book has been folded down as though to mark the place. The section marked discusses various methods of opening doors that have been sealed with the image of a pagan god. Speaking aloud the deity's true name will usually do the trick, apparently.
Alright, well, let's go for it.
I don't think we've seen any doors marked with sealed with the image of a pagan god. Unless the pagan god was just a lock.
Verlac.
Verlac? Uh-oh.
Is it Verlac?
Verlac.
Verlac.
Door with
The east. Oh, hey, it's that guy.
that guy, your husband, Zach?
Yeah.
No wonder he's distant if he's just that guy.
Oh, I know who he is. Alright, let's see.
Typing furiously at his laptop, as he walk in, he looks up at you with a pained expression. Can it wait? He asks you. I think I'm onto something really good here, and if I don't get it all out, I'm going to lose it. If you don't mind, I could really use the next hour or so to myself. And you shut the door. And He is obviously not summoning a pagan god. Why would he do that?
The book seems to have something to do with a character named Jack, who is working and not playing over and over again.
I just looked at the bookshelves. Literally hundreds of books stuff the shelves, many of them thick, cracked, leather-bound tomes with ribbon placeholders and titles lettered in raised gold leaf. It would take you years to peruse them all. However, one interesting title does catch your eye. An authentic first printing of Edgar Allan Poe's Tales of Mystery and Imagination, shelved incongruously between volumes G and H of the Encyclopedia Americana. I'm gonna take Poe. The book sticks stubbornly at first, and thinking that it must be tightly wedged in between the encyclopedia, you give it a fierce jerk. Suddenly, the book slides halfway out, then pops back in with a loud snink. Amazingly, a section of bookshelf slides back, revealing a hidden safe.
Hey.
We're not surprised, but I'm sure this character is. Yeah, art scores.
A character who is going to put the volumes of encyclopedia as the plural encyclopediae should not be surprised when there are things in the bookshelf.
So we've got the combination.
Oh, yes, we do.
Read journal. It is 143855.
Won't forget that soon.
So how to put it on? Oh, I see what you mean.
38. Set dial.
Oh, speaking of which,
I got it.
The journal says, cannot discover entrance in a cellar, secret eludes me still, but I will find it. The clue is in their names, that pestilential procession of names, if I could only... Done.
Oh, okay. So,
what letters was it between?
Is there an acrostic, perhaps?
Of the names of the Verlacs? What Verlac names do we have so far again?
Zach, you wrote this down, right?
Heinrich, Mordecai, Edward.
In the safe are a puzzle box and a strange metal flute. Oh, I pick up the puzzle box. It's roughly the size and shape of a cigar box, carved from some dark and oddly streaked wood that you can't identify, which is weird because you can identify most things. All 6 surfaces are decorated in a complex arrangement of grooves and panels, most of which are illustrated with leering demonic faces and obscene designs. As far as you can tell, it is in fact a box and meant to be opened. However, you see no obvious way to do so.
Oh, there's your demon marked. There's your pagan god marked door to open.
Yeah. We'll just say the guy's name.
Yeah. Hey, ugly.
Verlac. I don't even know what his name is.
So this is doing a cool thing.
Michael?
When you say, like, you just picked the flute up and it gave you the description, I examined the flute and it described it, and then when I picked it up, it didn't bother describing it because I had already seen it. I'm going to play the flute. Okay. Oh, examine holes. Which do you mean? The first flute hole, the second flute hole, the third flute hole, the fourth flute hole, the fifth flute hole, the sixth flute hole, the seventh flute hole. Examine fifth. It's a small round hole. You cover it with your finger in order to change the flute's pitch. It says you cover it, but I think they mean the non-specific you. Not that I actually cover.
You can just
fifth
type
hole.
in cover, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then blow flute, play flute.
Yeah, you can cover multiple holes and create a weird chord.
Okay. Sixth hole, play flute.
But you have to cover each hole individually.
Oh my goodness.
What if you cover all the holes? No.
Okay. 5th and 6th didn't do anything
We're
special.
gonna be here all night.
Yeah, let's not.
I think there's probably clues at some point.
Yes.
Someplace.
I actually remember the solution of the puzzle box, but I'm going to keep that a secret.
I think I do.
But let's see.
I'm wrong.
Okay. Did we have just 4 Verlac names?
Mordecai, Wilhelm, Heinrich, Elijah, Edward Philip is the other one. He was the one that we actually have he just died. Rest in peace.
I'm back in the wine cellar. I'm going to I'm trying a bunch of stupid stuff with the bottles that we know doesn't work. Push button. Read.
I'm sorry, it was Wilhelm, Heinrich, Mordecai, Edward. Was there somebody else? I thought there was. I thought we had a 5th person.
Elijah.
Elijah the painter.
Elijah.
The labels, if you read bottle, which of course you, because why not? The labels are faded and obscured by dust, but you can make out a few of them. Some of these vintages appear to be very old. X vintage, I guess. You can't see any such thing. Read bottle. Look, read label. Read label. Read labels. Oh my gosh. Oh wait. Clean labels.
Doesn't get much cleaner. Label is faded and mostly peeled away, but what little you can make out seems to indicate this is not a particularly distinguished brand of spirits. The words bootleg and rock gut come to mind, probably because they are the only words legible on what's left of the label.
No,
that's your flask.
Oh.
There's a lot of different drinks in this game.
Incidentally, I know you guys are having fun trying to read all the wine labels, but there is a children's bedroom upstairs.
Okay. I like how we can be in different parts of the house. Like, in the gang.
The bed is smaller than the one in the master bedroom. It's bright coverlit, providing one of the few feeble splashes of color in what must have been, for most of its history, a joylessly Puritan household. A small vanity table occupies the opposite wall, and in the corner under the window stands an ancient crib that only exists to the north. And there's a jewelry box on the corner of the vanity. Jewelry box is hardly larger than your hand, made of wood and charmingly decorated with a picture of children dancing around a maypole. Most likely a plaything of one of the later Verlac children. The lid is closed. And there is a locket inside. Inside the locket is a boy's picture. And you cannot look at the picture, maybe because I don't have the locket yet.
Look at boy's picture will get you to the picture. The boy in the picture looks no more than 3 or 4 years old. He is smiling, but there is something disconcerting about his expression, as if though his head were not shaped quite right, or his features had been placed slightly wrong. He might possibly have been mentally retarded. It's difficult to tell because the picture has been cropped so closely you cannot even see the edges of the boy's face, only his features build a tiny frame. Was a sensitive description.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you see, this is the thing that you have to do because it is an adventure game. Look under bed. You notice some you notice some odd scratches in the floor around the legs of the bed frame. Marks around 6 inches long, scored onto the wood. Otherwise, nothing but shadows and dust under the bed. I will say that I have learned so well to look under the bed that a certain notable piece of interaction fiction was spoiled for me at the beginning because it was my first action. And I could not figure out what was going on in the game.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes.
What about the? Oh my gosh!
Whoa! It's the Verlacs, run!
Pushing the bed reveals a ragged hole in the wood paneling. It's about 6 inches wide and looks like it was made by someone breaking in the wall with a hammer and pulling the paneling out with their bare hands.
I mean, I've pretty much always rented apartments with hardwood floors, and they always end up looking like this, because
Yeah.
this doesn't look abnormal to me, honestly.
wow.
We've grabbed some soggy pages. It
There's a
appears to
lot
have
of
been
stuff.
someone's diary. Most of the pages are waterlogged and completely illegible. Portions of few entries remained untouched. We can get more score.
I don't know. Like, reaching into a hole in a bedroom and finding someone's stash of soggy literature and going, score! That's... Can we just put them back? Yeah, we can read them, that's fine. No! Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of text.
Well...
This is one of Edward Verlac's daughters. Father came again to my bed last night. Mother doesn't. Tells me I can't. To be a good daughter. Sometimes it hurts, but Father always tells me I shouldn't cry. Father says a daughter must do her duty if she wants to get into heaven, and I do want to get into heaven. 1957. My poor little William. Father calls him an aberration, child of the devil, but I don't believe. Locked in the attic. I go to see him whenever Father is away. I sing to him, sometimes through the keyhole, and slip him sweets through the crack under the door. My baby is beautiful. Can't let him hurt my dear baby William. To the doctor, and he has a plan. I can never, this locket, William, and I will always keep yours, to always remember my face. And then 1961. Dead but not dead yet. Will not allow him to do to Edward what he wanted to do to William. Have learned, given him the charm against the... Never take it off, dear Edward. Fear to sleep, missed at the window. That's all.
Ooh.
well,
Oh, I remember playing this game. Yep. I'm remembering a later scene now. It's pretty disturbing, but that's all.
Yup. Well, so we couldn't go in the hole.
It was a 6-inch hole, it said.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like a... Yeah.
Singing in front of the door in the attic is not doing anything.
Can you look in the keyhole?
The keyhole is dark as though blocked by something.
I remember this.
Is this a poke out the key puzzle?
Yeah, you have to put a thing under
God.
the door, and then you push in something else. Do we have anything that you can push in?
Probably.
Okay.
Remember part of it.
I bet the flute we can push in.
Or do I have to play the right frequency? Is it one of those?
We have to do the right fingering on the flute eventually.
Right.
They're gonna force
Got
us.
that. But
What can we slide under the door to catch the key?
Possibly the soggy pages, more possibly the newspaper clippings.
Okay.
I'm having trouble because I'm remembering this puzzle in a different game where you have to slide different things in. So I don't remember which ones are in this one.
the electricity letter might work.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
the typewritten note. You should probably. We're all watching you do this instead of playing it ourselves now. So you should save.
Oh goodness. Okay. I'm gonna say. Oh goodness. I have to be the one saving things. Okay, I've saved. And do I need to save? Do I need a bookmark every time I save? Is that how this works in this?
I have no idea. I might have to like replay all of this to get the thing back.
I think the idea is, yeah, you bookmark because it's what puts it all in your location bar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the typewritten notice does slip under the door easily enough.
Okay, I'm gonna try the.
What do we have on the key? We're trying to see what we have that's
The
work.
journal is not flat enough.
Put clipping. That doesn't work either.
Door, it's not flat.
I think the more important thing is at the moment I don't think we have anything that we can stick into the keyhole.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you try the flute?
It doesn't work.
Well,
That
It's
is
too big.
That would be.
Did you try the broom?
It may not be flat enough, I would think.
Oh.
Broom into key.
It
Well,
won't
that-
fit. What are the odds?
Actually, yes,
I
that
tricked you guys
probably
into
makes
trying
sense.
something stupid. Okay.
We need to find a hairpin or something.
Yeah.
Let's go down. Where's the bedroom?
Oh, that's the dressing mirror, not a dresser.
Which do you mean, the jewelry box, the cardboard box, or the puzzle box?
I don't have the cardboard box anymore. I left it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Basements.
Take.
This is kind of.
Oh, east.
So
I just saw J-Mac shaking his head. I feel like he's judging my current running around doing stupid things.
I'm actually renting a car. Sorry.
that explains it.
You can take that as your judgment if you wish, but it actually isn't.
You New Englanders, and you're living in places where public transportation is enough to get you around without a car. Are we supposed to leave the house at this point?
I think we're stuck if we don't leave the house, because I can't think of anything else to do.
Yeah, there's nothing close to what we need.
Alright. I'm going to save and bookmark and go. Because I seem to remember leaving the house on this day. But
yeah. I mean, it's spooky. Unlock door.
yeah, you have to unlock the door because you know what? I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to close the door behind me because I'm a good person who owns a house and lock the door.
We don't have a car in this game.
Right.
We shouldn't rent
That's
a
why
car.
J-Mac is renting
Yeah,
one.
so I was renting one. Play this already. Call Enterprise. They'll pull right up. It'll know.
Something unspeakable drops it off for you.
Yeah.
You gotta say his name or else the car won't open.
You have to pronounce Uber with the umlaut correctly, or the board will up and circles you.
Oh, look, I'm at the scenic view southeast of the house. From here you can see the paper mill almost directly to the north. The solitary lighthouse and surrounding
Hey.
ocean to the northeast,
Okay.
and the dilapidated stone church below you to the east. Although it's very likely that we couldn't see that yesterday because of the mist.
Hmm.
Can we examine the thing?
What thing?
I'm trying to say the name. It's a lighthouse. Whoa.
I think we can go to the lighthouse.
The lighthouse
We can
stands
also look
tall
at it.
against the horizon, a dingy white tower amidst a gray sky and a grayer sea. Despite the ominous cast to the weather, no beacon is shining from the tower's top. The cold wind blows harder, tugging at the hem of your trench coat. So that's...
Oh, I didn't get that message.
I think it's just a random atmospheric.
It is, and I'm the only one who gets them. So, south from Chile Avenue is the deserted lane. The gently winding lane makes its way through the birch woods south of town. New England foliage is famous for its splendid colors in the fall, but the oppressive weather and pervading murk have leached these trees of most of their tint. I feel like tint is an unnecessary word in this situation. The road continues south into the increasingly dense forest, and in the other direction heads back to town. A paved walk also leads east through the trees.
Going east to the churchyard. A low wrought iron fence, its spike-tipped bars bent or leaning at crazy angles, surrounds the overgrown yard of this dark, abandoned church. A gap in the fence leads back west, while a bare path beaten through the groping weeds leads around the church to the southeast. Behind the church, the forest encroaches right up to the iron fence here, some of which is literally buried in the tangled underbrush. There are no doors on this side, although a wooden trapdoor over by the corner of the building probably leads into a cellar. A path leads southwest around to the front of the church. Why let you into the building when you can go into a cellar?
You can't walk into the church the front way because at least a dozen sturdy boards have been nailed across the sturdy oak doors.
And we still don't have a crowbar.
Yeah,
Or a chisel.
which would also work.
The trapdoor. Unlock the trapdoor. It's not the cellar door that needs unlocking so much as the enormous padlock holding it shut. Fine then.
If we had a crowbar, we could just rip off that
Does it,
padlock.
Oh,
it
the
does
padlock.
look thoroughly rusted.
Although it's still quite strong, you may be able to break it if you had something heavy enough.
Hey!
Sit on padlock. Sit on the rusty padlock. Jump on the padlock. On the padlock.
Wow!
What?
There's an actual response for hit padlock with broom.
That's
You can't
impressive.
get in
Why
a good
wouldn't
blow
there
with
be?
a broom. You need something heavier. Is that... Oh, yeah, that's everything. Anything that is not heavy enough.
You can't get a good blow with the faculty card.
You can't get in a good blow with the no tea. You need something heavier.
A cup of coffee. This is what we need it for.
In the distance, you can hear the lonesome keening of a train whistle drifting on the wind.
We need like a hammer or something like that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm now going down in the forest. The forest grows denser as you go, crowding thickly up to either side of the road. The groping, tangled branches block out what little sunlight there is left. Your footsteps are muffled. Whispering leaves and the slow drip of water are the only sounds you can hear. Beyond the watching trees, the shadows are impenetrably thick. The road stretches interminably north to south. So, the corridor continues. You walk a bit further down the road, but it doesn't seem to lead anywhere, and the shadows grow thicker the farther down you go. After a while, you turn back, unable to suppress a shiver.
Let's go north.
Yeah. Back to the nice part of town. There's a vacant lot to the east. And if we go back there, it was empty before, but now an old man dressed in dirty rags sits on his mattress, muttering to himself as he stares intently out to sea. Examine his hand. This pitiful creature might once have been a successful and healthy man, but alcohol and mental illness have dragged him down irretrievably into degenerate squalor. His clothes are filthy
Which you know.
tatters. His hair, a matted, knotted mess. His body reeks of booze and urine. He sits on his mattress, seemingly oblivious to you or the rest of the world, and that's where he'll stay until either death or the next drink comes around. His old bum is clutching a small object to his chest. He rubs it and turns it in his hands constantly, as if it were some sort of relic or charm. Hard to tell, but it appears to be a key. That'd be so great if it were a key.
Look at the key. Mine, the old man hisses, clapping his hands onto his chest, as though you were about to frisk him for it. It's mine, and I won't let it go.
Well, we do have some booze.
He is thirsty.
There is a special reply for Hitman. This poor man's life is miserable enough without you adding to his...
Wow. What about Kiss Man?
Couldn't you just give him a quarter or something?
Okay.
You cannot give him the coffee either. He stares at the styrofoam cup blankly, not sure what you want him to do with it. Apparently he isn't overly fond of cold, murky coffee. At some point, we gotta give this coffee to somebody. Somebody wants this.
Give your clothes to man. The old man stares at your clothes blankly, not sure what you want him to do with it.
Don't know much about that. Memory's not what it used to be. Yeah, that's my attempt at a New England accent. I will stop now. In movie-style New England accent.
Yeah, asking him about anything suggests that he's...
He just offered you coffee, you ungrateful cur. Well, I suppose it is a diuretic, so...
Show puzzle box.
Wow.
Oh,
I already gave the flask to the man.
Oh, yeah?
It's... point-wise, maybe not morally, but...
Aren't we descending further into darkness?
And I'm also gonna save before I do that, just in case.
The flask is empty.
What? Really?
After he drinks from it, it's
Oh,
empty.
right. Okay.
It said that there were 3 sips left in it, which I took to mean that we might need sips of whiskey, but he drank all the sips. So, take key. Mind the... Oh, I haven't given...
Nope.
I can't take the key even after I...
Ask man about Verlac. The old man seems to physically shrink just a little bit, darting nervous glances around the empty lot. Oh, they're the worst of the lot, he whispers. They're the queen maggots, so they are, sitting all fat and full of poison in the center of the nest. Particularly that one, the worst of all, the one with the red-rimmed eyes.
Ask him about Edward. The old man lets out a vicious cackle. They got to him, didn't they? Maggots got to him good, got into his head. The maggots got into his head, eating at him until he had to crack it open to get him out. Poor boy, he shakes his head. Delivered him, I did. Pulled him right out of his mama. Him and his... Suddenly he
this
stops
is...
and will say no more.
There was a newspaper clipping that seemed incongruous about... Oh, there's the obstetrician, after 20 years, just suddenly retired after having a nervous breakdown.
Well...
Oh, wait. I actually... Do we know the name of the person in the bedroom yet? Because I remember this. I don't know if we actually know it yet.
The girl who wrote the diary or the...
the diary.
Diary. Wrote the diary. Read pages...
Oh, maybe that was
wait,
right.
never mind. We can get around it. If you ask him about William, which is the kid's name, then now we find out. The old man falls silent all of a sudden, and for a while he simply stares down at his hands, limp and open in his lap. Then, drawing a deep breath, he begins to speak, and for the first time his voice is steady, without the reedy whine of alcoholic craving, and signaling that we're going to be here for a bit of text.
Ayo. Little Edward had a brother, so he did. And I know him. I know of William, so I do. I delivered the child. Anna Verlac was his mother. It was... He leans over and grips your arm with a hand that is suddenly steady and strong. It was her father's poison seed, you see. That evil bastard poisoned her womb and put a monster inside her. What she gave birth to, it wasn't... Oh, God. When I held that abortion in the shape of an infant, that thing with hooves for feet and its crown of writhing, when it looked up at me with its father's red-rimmed eyes. The old man shudders convulsively, and it is well before he can speak again. Anna and I decided between ourselves, we did. A child, it lived for a few years, but it was sickly and in pain, and it could never be normal nor healthy. She brought it to me. I was a doctor, you see. I had seen her through a child's birth, and she trusted me. And I put the thing down, softly and without pain. And they laid it to rest in the family crypt. And Anna thanked me for it, so she did. The old man falls silent again, and his wavering, bloodshot eyes wander once more out to sea, and he is lost once again to the horror and pain of the memories that can only be silenced by drink.
Well, too bad. It's gone. I asked him about Lovecraft. He didn't. I couldn't say anything. I asked him about Cthulhu. It didn't work any better.
Mordecai, the old man shrinks away from you. Not here, he hisses. Not anywhere. Never speak it.
Wow.
Mordecai, not good dude.
But he doesn't know Elijah.
Elijah's in the 1800s. I thought.
He is.
So William's probably buried in the crypt, and that's when we probably can get into it. Whoa.
What'd you get?
I did Ask Man About Anna, and he started shouting. Asking Man About Anna. Tears streamed unchecked down the old man's face. Shouldn't have happened to the girl. Only 17 she was. Still a child when that red-eyed monster took her. His eyes suddenly darken, his fists clench. His own daughter, God's fuck 'em. Shouldn't have done that to his own daughter. God's fuck 'em all. So there's that.
I asked him about the crypt. He said, "Huh? What coffin do you mean?"
Wait, what?
Ask him about the flute. Maybe he'll ask you, do you mean the first hole or the second hole? Or
Yeah, I'm reading the walkthrough, and apparently there is a thing we were supposed to do in the crypt that we have not done yet.
I think we still have time. I believe that things are locked by days, if I recall correctly.
That sounds right. Catherine, can you give us a hint for what to do in the crypt?
Or do you just have a list of commands?
Actually, yeah, I basically, we didn't know William's name, so we couldn't look for his...
That makes sense. Yeah.
Grave.
Right, and he did just point us back to William's grave.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have just received the clue.
Hey. I have to unlock the door first.
Because that's the way things work.
Okay. Look up William. Look. I am. The nameplate reads, William Verlac, born June 22, 1954, died September 18, 1958. Unlike the others, William's coffin is a ramshackle affair of cheap pine held together with rusting nails. It's half rotten with age, and so shabbily built you could probably open it with your bare hands. Open William's coffin. Compelled by a gruesome curiosity, you dig your nails into the soft, rotting boards and pry up the lid. With the shriek of pulling nails and the shower of crumbling wood, the coffin comes open and you look inside, expecting to find the child's tiny skeleton. Dear God. There's no child buried here. Instead, the coffin contains only the worm-eaten bones of some kind of animal. Who would have buried an animal in the place of the child that should have been interred here, and why would they do such a thing? Glumly, you look around the rest of the coffins and realize that anyone who might have known the answers to these questions is probably already buried in this room.
Or sitting out on a random vacant lot.
Oh yeah, you can tell dude about animal skeleton.
And you
I can take the skull.
Take the skull.
Yes.
Yeah.
Skulls are
Now
heavy.
I have a skull.
Look at the skull.
How many holes does the skull have?
Can you play the skull? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
You can't get a very good tone out of the animal's skull. So I guess we can show the
Enter the coffin. That's not something you can enter.
well,
Let's
not
go
yet.
traumatize the poor homeless man.
I'm going to show the skull to the old man. Show skull to the old
Whoa!
man.
Oh.
Oh,
Show
Oh
skull
my
to man
God.
for a text dump.
What'd you do?
I showed skull to man. Did I just get there faster than you?
How did you get
You got
there?
there at the same time, but I got the old man bats the skull away with an expression of disgust. What are you sticking that in my face for? He
Possibly because you didn't actually talk to him about things, and so you
Okay.
didn't clue in a flag to
Ryan,
know.
you're just shoving skulls into faces. You're not trying to
I'm trying to act the way I would really act in real life, which is to shove skulls in people's faces.
Yeah, while saying skull to meet you.
When I talked to him and got the whole horrible story of everybody that he delivered, and then went and got a skull and then showed it to him,
Yeah.
that makes the old man grow sickly pale, raise one hand as if to ward off the sight of the skull, deny the truth one more time, then drop his hands as he sinks down onto the mattress groaning, "Oh, it's true, God help my lying soul, it was her father who wished to kill the thing, not Anna. Kill it to make way for another," he said, "a more fitting vessel." He wanted to try again. God's the depths of his evil. After the way the first one came out, he wanted to try again. Anna came to me and asked for my help, and what could I do? What could I do? It was her child, for God's sake, no matter what else it was, and she couldn't bear to lose it. But we had to weigh the coffin down with something. He sits up, suddenly fastening on you with a sick, pleading look. "I've told you too much now," he whispers desperately. "They'll know. The Mags'll find out for sure. They'll find me. Even in my hole, they'll find me." He lets out an eye-wateringly pungent breath. "P'raps it's best they do. I've spent so long drowning my sins, p'raps time's come to pay for them at last. This won't do me much good no more," he said, holding up his little copper key. "And yet," he closes his fist around it again, "and yet maybe there's a way. They say there's ways to protect yourself, wards versus the evil eye and such. Perhaps if I could get me one of those." A flurry of dead leaves goes skittering along the ground, swirling past you in the wind.
So I asked him about a ton of different things, and he still doesn't do anything when I show him the skull.
Did you ask him about William?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened?
He said, he told me the whole thing, and then I showed him the skull, and he says, "What about it?"
Ask him about Anna.
I just explained to that other feller about the skull. What do you...
Yeah, we'll just use your save file and ignore the weird dead end that I've landed in.
We have a Jeffity Dude who is muted apparently.
Hey, Jeffy, you're in group chat, so if you do you want to play Anchorhead with us? Is this a real guy? Is what I'm asking.
We welcome our robot overlords as well. That's fine.
What person there for a second? Hello.
At work.
It's a person. It's not the same person from.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
it's
your
someone-
country
I'm
music.
listening.
Oh, hey, okay.
Who is at work?
Sorry, Jeffity. We had to deal with a troll who really wanted us to watch a suspicious file and listen to some country music. Oh, okay.
Whoa,
Well-
really?
As long as you're upfront about it.
At least
I'm a
you're a troll
troll.
contributing to society with a job and everything.
I think he's telling us to I am a troll, in which
Oh.
case I'll take care of that. You guys play. I'll just I am a troll.
So, can we...
Oh.
We're stuck. I mean, we're not stuck because now we know that we have to give him a ward.
Yeah, we can still do this. There is one thing. Like, this... Yeah, I'm trying very hard not to spoil.
If I
I'm
remember
glad you're
correctly,
looking
we
at a
still-
walkthrough, though, because we would be dead.
If I remember correctly, we still need to go into town.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into
imagine.
town.
I'll
Yeah,
pause
that's one thing.
it.
Oh, hey.
Oh, wait, so there's under the bridge with the door. Did we go there before?
I've not seen this yet.
Oh, okay. Because I thought I was going to the town, and I didn't. I went to under the bridge, downtown. It's where I drew some blood. But the ponderous stones of Whately Bridge arch overhead, casting this little concrete ledge into deep shadow. At your feet, the dark waters lap quietly against the stones with hollow subterranean sound. Stone steps to the southeast lead back up to street level. A small metal door, blotchy with rust, is set into the south bank of the river underneath the bridge.
Hmm.
Cannot unlock this at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Probably
That
the
might be
door.
his key.
Yeah. The copper
Yeah.
key.
I would assume that because it's a metal door.
He mentioned a
And-
hole earlier, right nearby there, so that's probably where he's hanging out.
Yeah. In the town square, though, let's see. We've got the courthouse and a dark, narrow alley and avenues to the west and east lead back into the Crampton Inbound Street, while to the north is the bridge. Damp newspaper. X newspaper. It's the weekly Arkham Herald. Anchorhead,
Anything
apparently.
damp and readable in this game is worth your
Anchorhead
time.
apparently is not large enough to warrant its own newspaper. Read newspaper. The front page, Greer, 8 years old, who was abducted from his home at 11 Milltown Road last night. Little Jeffrey is the latest victim in a series of abductions that stretches back for years, one every 6 months or so, and that authorities believe is the work of a single perpetrator. Local police had hoped to prove that Edward Verlac had been behind the kidnappings, but were unable to obtain a confession or any hard proof. Edward Verlac was convicted of murdering his wife and 2 daughters, one of whom was 15 months old in January of this year. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity and incarcerated in Danvers Asylum, when there are much better names for asylums just sitting around, where he remained until committing suicide last March. This latest kidnapping, occurring after Edward's death, seems to have cleared up any lingering suspicions that he might have been the culprit. Anyone possessing information regarding the whereabouts of Jeffrey Greer, the missing kid, is strongly urged to speak to the authorities as soon as possible.
Was Jeffety showing up and then leaving a clue? Was that no relation, I assume?
Oh, Jeffety Doo-Doo.
Yeah.
I just realized his name is Doo-Doo. He must be Jeffrey from the story, letting us know
He's
that
all grown up.
he
He's a
survived.
troll. He's possessed. Possessed by, I can't actually say this.
Going to the courthouse.
Okay.
Oh, right, the records. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we have to look up.
Look up Jeffety.
Yes, the courthouse, closed unmarked doors line either side of the hall, their pebble glass windows lit from within by murky yellow-orange light. Silence reigns here.
Whoa.
Your footsteps echo eerily on the tiled floor, and occasionally you can hear muted conversation behind one of the doors. You can't tell which. At the hall's southern end, a staircase leads down into the basement. A sign above it reads Records. You can return to Town Square to the north.
Have you all been here before?
In the last time we played the game in the 20th century.
But, yes.
That's what I remember the records.
But it's 1997. Right now.
Look up Ryan Veeder in records. I want to know.
It's going to happen to me.
Look up Michael in birth records.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
has never been born. And yet, he is alive.
Just prints your game's transcript at you.
Oh, jeez.
Look up Michael in records. Michael Gentry is the author of Anchorhead. Here is the source.
Elijah Verlac, born December 16th, 1802. Look up Heinrich, born October 8th, 1734.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
sure what
We're
we're getting
supposed
at.
to be writing all this down.
We are?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I'm afraid I must retire for the evening, but I'll join for part 3, which I'm sure lay in your future. So,
I hope so.
good night.
We're going to solve the entire game.
Yeah, do it. All right, later.
Night.
Yeah.
What am I looking at? Wilhelm.
You said we do need these dates.
I think it's at least going to be down to the year that we need to know some of these. So,
Let me print this screen. We'll do a good old print screen. If that works. Let's see.
Oh yeah, okay, so if you look up enough of these, then you will get a little blurb. You seem to be uncovering a pattern here. All these Verlocs seem to have lived to a ripe old age and then died on the very day the next is born. The birth records are incomplete. No parents are listed and no cause of death is noted on the death records. There's just not enough information here to draw a conclusion. You'll simply have to keep digging until you find the answers.
well, so we don't need to write them down.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I remember having to do that. I don't remember why.
I'll do it for you. Look up William in deaths.
Oh, wait, I think we might need the dates. Can we? Okay, so 51, 1934. Oh, there is. Oh no, we do have this one.
I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
1886, 1960.
It's kind of bizarre how much of this game is looking up the same group of people in a bunch of different record
Location.
things.
That actually was what I remembered the most. Probably because it makes up so much of it.
It's like this could not. No one would be able to get away with this today.
Mm.
It's so tedious.
But it is very quintessentially Lovecraft.
Oh yeah?
The finding of documents, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that makes it a lot of fun.
I was recently at a Lovecraft movie marathon, and it was odd how even in these movies, it's like, oh, and then this guy got a box of documents, and then you started reading the documents, and then we go into a flashback, which includes that person finding a box of documents, which goes into a flashback within the flashback.
All right. Yeah, I haven't read a lot of Lovecraft, so I don't pick up on a lot of the homage. And it's always been, like, because of that, it's hard to see what choices Michael Gentry made that were deliberately not being Lovecraftian.
Mm.
And see, because those are the choices that are the most interesting, right? But I don't know exactly what they are.
Did we get a chance to look at our husband's birth certificate, or driver's license, or did we just get his ID card?
Just his ID. That was all that was in his wallet.
Oh, have we looked at the, this is back in the house, have we looked at the photos, the paintings? Or have
We
we
looked
not?
at a bunch of paintings, yeah.
Okay, cool. It's probably just an info thing. What do we need to do?
Table saw, what exactly are you doing?
I'm going back. I'm trying to figure, because kind of niggling at my memory is, we know that there's the pattern of people dying and being, and then the successor being born on the exact same day, but we don't have the person who was born when Mordecai Verlac died on April 26th, 1960. We do have because we have the other people, we have William 1954, Anna 1936, but we don't have a 1960. And that was what I was, in terms of looking for enough information to draw a conclusion, I was wondering.
Isn't that Edward? Isn't that Edward?
No,
Edward
was
was-
the most recent.
Yeah. Was he born 1960?
Oh, no, that is it. Right.
Oh, okay. So we don't have any holes in the record then?
Not as such, no.
Okay. I just ran back to the house to get the newspaper clippings unnecessarily.
But you can't take them out of the house.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you can't bring them out. Yeah.
And they were gone.
I hate the scenic view, the trip that you take to get from the house to the bottom of the hill, because okay, you go southeast to get to the thing, and then you go northeast. Yeah, you go northeast. That is a collection of diagonals that is hard to keep in your mind, and it bugs me.
I need to go grab
I'm
some
going to
dinner.
complain about it.
It's
I'm
a
going to go grab some
poor.
dinner, so I'm going to save this and put it into Owly, and
Yeah, I probably should go as well. It's a bit
well, I
late.
think
Yeah.
we might be ending.
This is a good place to stop. So, before I stop the broadcast, I'll say, thanks, guys. Good
Of course,
job.
yeah.
You solved the mystery.
Game over. The end. Weird.
I'm sorry, we have merely scratched the surface of evil.
Oh. We have
Still?
50, though. That's like a sixth of the way through, right?
Yeah. Almost.
Well, it is
So-
day 2 of, I think it was a week maybe, so yes, actually we are.
Okay, and we're in the town square. So, good. This is the correct Owly link. I'm gonna copy that Owly link out of the chat because it doesn't preserve the chat. And then,
Oh, okay. Well, I also have it. You know.
It could be lost forever, but not now anymore. We got it now.
say goodnight, Zach.
Good night, Zach.
Zach.
Okay. I'm gonna turn it off now.